Hello everyone and welcome to Print Stream GG, not the usual place we get some TF2 action, but today we're going to be bringing you some Premiership action from week 2 of ETF2L in the Premiership division. We've got 2 games on simultaneously. We've got one over on the A stream, over on Essentials. They're going to be covering, I believe, Mandem against Garda. Mandem against Garda over on that stream. But here we're going to be having 4 Fence taking on SKEDDA. 4 Fence yet to come in action this season. They postponed their week 1 game against the Germans to week 3, I believe. So that one's going to be waiting in the wings, but no points scored so far. But looking at the roster, should be hoping to get some up pretty soon. But joining me, we have J-Max on production and Domaytoe coming back after a bit of a hiatus. How are you doing? How's it good to be back?
Bonsoir and boa noite, taking along those, profile lines of both of those teams, so French and, Brazil. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing fine. If people thought they would be safe in 6s from me, then I might be the harbinger of doom here. It has been some time to answer your question, and it was only 6s Nations Cups game in the past. So officially, the first official cast here of a real Premiership season, and I'm excited for that one. You mentioned it. We are into week 2, and also 4 Fans really haven't been tested this season so far. It's usually nice to go in a second week game with having played a game already, which is sometimes what a second week does imply, but we'll get to the storylines in a bit maybe. Ben, thanks for having me also in general. A bit long time since I last was on this Twitch channel, but we'll have to see. Do we want to take a look at the rosters first?
Yeah, sure. I get the 4 Fence roster it's a bit reminiscent of previous 4 Fence iterations, a bit sort of mashed together of people who were on 4 Fence in the 3.5 stars roster last season, but lots of great names over on that side. I'm sort of reluctant to use the word French super team because there's a lot of great French players not on this roster, but it looks pretty damn good. We've got Nevo and Cubit on the Scouts, Rons and Bruges on the Soldiers, Delhi, they're coming over in 3.5 stars on Demoman, and Juxta, returning medic, was medic for them back in the summer season when they finished 2nd place against Witness Gaming, coming for that nice lower bracket run in playoffs. But now, back on the regular class of medic, we sort of have a detour on flank scout in the midst of things. But yeah, this 4 Fence roster looks so powerful.
Brilliant. And who is opposing them? Let's get it on their way as we're going live quite soon. It will be SKEDDA with Manix, maybe assuming the role of Pocket Scout. We'll have to see as the game unravels. Ave on the secondary scout, and then Peck coming in as a sub for Warped. Jordi also fitting in the role on the jointly joined soldier class. Lucas, or based god as he's tagged in the game, currently ongoing, and Mac on the most important class, as every brain volume wielder knows, it is the medic class. I mean, you called it. It's a French super team, but SKEDDA, sort of, it is their first time in Prem, but they won Division 1 in the last season in a crazy close grand final against Nandem, and
that was Global Yeti that won that. This is a mix.
Oh yeah, sorry.
This is a mix. No, this mix looks so good though.
They lost to Global Yeti. Yeah, I mean, you pointed out, but it was a close grand final in all of that. No, they won the Division 1 grand final. That's what I was talking about. They lost their first week game here of this Premiership season, but they won the last Division 1. Anyway, we're going live here, so this will get cut out anyway. So Ben, take us away.
Yeah, let's see what they're able to show us first action from 4 Fence in the season. I think I made some outrageous statement last week. I think 4 Fence could go all the way this time. I think they've got the pieces for it, and knowing how well they did with a very, very similar roster back in the summer season, they've got everything to prove in my eye. We're here on process, we're here for first rollout, we're here to see what they've been cooking in this time off.
Manix is assuming the top ground already, runs a bit, Pencil jumping away, and is the first casualty of that mid-fight. Jordi also following up with the rockets, Bruchman taking down early. Great showing of those aggressive players on the high ground. It does bear fruits currently as both soldiers went down. Lucas falling, but it was not really enough since they were already forced out after Lucas fell down.
Yeah, that was such an important fight to win though from Delhi in the choke, winning out that first 1v1 between the all-powerful demo men and Lucas falling out. If that quite goes the other way, that's 3v6 basically, and they just show that SKEDDA are going to seize the opportunity to start charging their way into second, but as it stands, currently just getting their players live, getting them buffed up, and we're into our first stalemate of the game. Hero charges ready for both sides, and we'll see what SKEDDA have to go for. I know Warped, the player who's been replaced in this one, let's go for all sorts of crazy jumps as a bit of a jump back gremlin. But this time, shoes being filled by Puck, who is also equally capable with the rocket jumping, and we'll see if they decide to go for anything like that.
Just get a calm down there. We have some troublemakers coming in through the IT area. Puck is losing his life.
Rouge on Medic, loads of damage onto Matt, gets the force out. In that distraction to IT, there's all the Rouge. Rougeman uses the opportunity, seizes it perfectly, jumps straight through the choke. Massive force there onto Mac, was taken so weak, I think nearly almost to single digits. But that is such an important force to come through now because fourth ends, they're getting ready to walk in and they're getting given a lot of space. Joy's going to try and jump in and try and cause some distraction, cause some ability for pressure to come through from the SKEDDA side, but Juxta is so safe behind the point. This Uber ad's still at 70%. They're going to get mid for free and they're going to look to go even further off this.
They tried on the side of SKEDDA to make them pay for every ground and every inch of ground that they're going to take, but apparently no one really was able to get cleaned up. This damage proved inconsequential for that matter, and it is still a 30% advantage if they have their eyes on that here on the Frenchies. They are very eager to walk into this lobby area and above all the players up decent health already, and Nebo is in from the left side, seen from the defending point of view's perspective. Jordi a little bit lonesome currently, not really finding anything. The rosters and the sides have changed. QB gets gunned away. There is a sniper apparently, and the blue medic. The drop! No, the drop is more important than the force.
Wow, Puck going in, that looks so rough because fourth ends, they milked that Uber in so well. They get the force out onto Mac on the high ground, but Puck sneaks in through the super sub, gets straight in onto Juxta, and wow, that could have been so dire. You're thinking there, if they're able to get out alive, even with just 4 players up on the fourth end side, if they can get out, build that ad up again, and come back in, it could have been great for them, but now they're staring down the barrel of a couple of players this had themselves, and they're going to charge in Mac getting caught out very aggressive, down to 19 HP, so weak. Running out into sewer, but the fourth end side, this Mo Blood, they're charging in.
Bit of an obscure armistice stack, you know, just currently as Mac was the furthest one walking through the choke area, he was alone in, he was like, where's my team, why is not following? But a decent serve, this man has been on the beach, you can tell through, and Jordi is bit of caught there, out of position on the low ground, big jump coming in, runs, not getting the final rocket onto Mac as he has AF to keep him company and keep his medic safe. Both scouts still on the beam. Mac popped up in the air. The Uber is going to come out, but they don't find a venue into pushing Juxta.
Yeah, Juxta's just firing enough back, but actually still want to come in on this. They're going to try and go for some sort of chariot perhaps. As Juxta's taking a lot of damage, going to be so careful not to get forced down to 39 HP, getting charged down by Menix, but is able to get out to the security of choke. And the spawners are here, the reinforcements are ready for the French side, and so is that Uber advantage again, sitting at about 70%. Looking so good. Delhi's going to be about another 5 or 6 seconds away, but the push is coming through already. Levo is going to start taking this for free, and SKEDDA, they don't want anything of it. They are all back onto last. They're going to try and turtle it out.
Quite substantial leapfrogging that we saw with the Uber fights. However, Juxta was able to retain his Uber advantage, and we have seen beforehand that in the blue side, they're able to kite this quite well. The gun is already up level 2. Mac doesn't really get caught by this aggressive panic room push. He was not panicked at all. Ron's falling, however, and there's already Captain coming. QB, weak, F coming out. He's on the big heavy weapons guy, and they're going to build their Uber fully up. Probably won't even need to use it in time. Juxta still trying to fling some bolts of the crossbow away, and the force, or rather the safe pop on the side and in the face of Lucas comes out to secure the ground.
Yeah, that use there on Mac is so important. I thought Delhi could have done some massive damage, really gets from above up in the panic room, but not quite able to land enough there onto the heavy. But actually, Juxta getting out, pretty important, because they're building up now, built about a 30% advantage. So again, it's similar to what they had before. It is definitely workable. If they want to go quick, they can go for it. They can try and work this in. It looks like they're thinking about it, getting positions ready to take into lobby. There's a sniper to contest with. Watching in through 4, gonna have to be negotiated, but it seems to jump to the other side of it, going straight in through 3, only 8% on this Uber charge from Mac, as everyone's supposed to be from the point already, sticks everywhere, still to be cleared, yet gun finally goes down, but Mac gonna be getting Uber charge any second now, 100% on that medigun, uses onto the heavy. Now can any of these red players get out alive? Juxta not gonna be one of the lucky ones, as he's taken down, and it's a more substantial hold there coming in from SKEDDA. They've weathered the storm, and importantly, they've gone into Juxta.
So clutch. SKEDDA finally have the ability to push out currently as they keep their medic alive, and this huge position from Brugeman on runs in the panic room almost worked out, but Mac on the skin of the teeth, building up his own Uber to respond to. And big jump from Jordi already onto the red medic. He does not perish, however, and the scout chariot is the one that secures the medic's life once more. Mech still vaulting some players. The Nevo is going to front charge the other enemy players there. Pistol! Double kills there in the pistol, and on the rollout, you're going to roll out all the way to your respawn queue. No one really has anything to do here. Manix only with Mech alive, and the Uber not going to be able to come off as 1-0 finally after a lot of pushes, Ben. After a lot of pushes. We have to keep that in mind, but the Frenchies are going to take the lead.
Finally, yeah, and I've got to say, we sing the praises of this runs through soldier duo so often, but that was again textbook work. I think his runs got in behind, into lobby, did so much splash damage across backside, and managed to get a kill on a scout in lobby as well. And Brugeman, perfect timing, jumps over the top of everyone, secures kills on the low ground, and managed to chase everyone home back into the spawn door. Means there's no threat at all. The counter coming in as SKEDDA going 1-0 down after a decent start to that round, and this time they're getting bombed instantly. Brugeman landing on the low ground next to Matt. Going to be swept up. 1 kill advantage already for SKEDDA, but look at those low HP bars. Ones are not going to either.
Both solis once again bombing Mech, but he does keep us alive, and we have been, well, moribund maybe to dubbing Brugeman the Rooseman. He was always doing these high bombs. This time around, though, he landed. Unfortunately, did not find the projectiles needed. However, Lucas is still peeking from this sewer area and trying to secure the ground a little bit with stickies, but however, it does create the space currently for Puck to come in. No damage going to go on to Juxta, so it's a even more player disadvantage on the side of the SKEDDA, and I think they still want to play close here and try to you know, negotiate their positions for a trade.
Yeah, Puck spawning up now. It's still another few seconds away. Jordan.
Oh, Max
quite a while, but big force coming through. Runs with rockets in through IT. Gets Max so weak, like he's at the force. So massive Mac. Getting forced out again. These soldiers being a real thorn in the side for SKEDDA now. It's going to be another walk in. They're going to try and get in for free. Is anyone going to commit on Strux? Doesn't look like it so far. Again, SKEDDA respectful there, thinking, you know what? We're heading through with 6 people on second. They're going to give it up. Try and build hard and get this Uber charge up in time for last. But second, mid's falling already. Nelly's already in on second.
And now SKEDDA on this receiving position that they're so used to, since they're getting pushed to their last with an Uber disadvantage, a big one. 50% is still taking cap time, only coming out of Nevo so far, but this push usually was associated on the side of SKEDDA with decent abilities to deny an oncoming red push, but maybe they've learned their lesson on the side of the Frenchies. Sentry gun instantly going to get stickied away, and Brugeman with a flash of that Uber going to take the panic room. Puck falling, QB still getting gunned away, and it seems to be secured for the moment.
Yeah, Max going to get this Uber charge up in the next few seconds as well, unless the soldiers can eventually do that. Brugeman going to jump in, not going to get anything. Ron's getting one trade frag in the meantime. 3v3, but all importantly, Heavy still up, Heavy still alive. There's still a down man sticky, anything that's needed, and that Uber charge is ready to be popped at any moment from Mac, but it doesn't seem like they're too bothered about pushing out just yet. Never mind, they've got number one now. They've still got runs to negotiate up top. This could be risky. There's only 3 players really committing this push. One's going to jump in, do good damage onto Lucas. Lucas is so weak. Lucas comes out and eventually QB maybe forcing that with a sniper as well. Going to be forced back now. They're really going to try and get their money's worth on this Uber charge. SKEDDA, they're charging up, taking control of the sewer, runs down, Delhi down, but Uber charge advantage still not down yet because Juxta is going to have very soon.
The blue squad had intelligence on that the sniper was on the field, and that forced Mech to stay passive behind and out of sight behind the second point, and it made it easy for enemy players to spam it out and force them, but it managed to create as much momentum as they could salvage as they can. Kept the midpoint here. However, the huge sniper shot is going to clear up this point. Only 2 players living, Mech and Manix. Once again, push back almost to last. They don't even get the brunt of their forward players. Only F is going to spawn, and 7 seconds still onto Lucas and onto Puck. But what we saw once more is that they couldn't really create enough momentum out of their force of their own team there on the second point, you know. But I mean, they almost, you know, just secured to the midpoint, but eventually it was not enough. Manix is trying to do some cheeky.
The control point is being captured. They're dropping so many players in IT. They took their entire flank in IT of SKEDDA. Like, great work again coming in from Ron's and Nevo Bear up top in the top of IT. You're going to get the Uber charge built back up. This ad that Mac had not going to be valuable at all, losing those extra 2 players, and they're getting the gun built up. They're in for the long haul, got a sniper up, engineer up, and they're back turtling on their own last. After that first mid-fight, it's never really been momentum for the side of SKEDDA so far.
Well, we have to guess onto circumstantial evidence. Maybe they're just so hopeful and, you know, comfortable in this last hold. They've been in this position for the, like, 10 minutes of this game almost. They're always going to turtle up on this last, so that's maybe why they fed. No, obviously not. But, I mean, having those two players alive would have definitely helped their cause greatly, as in they could finally use the advantage that they had. They didn't have really one before.
Nice,
And we saw
nice
sniper duel. However, yeah, it's not Highlander, but you still have some snipers. Manix losing it this time around. That creates the opening maybe for runs to jump in behind. Sentrygun is going to get dealt with. Max still in this forward position there, and is going to get popped up like a balloon in the air. Not going to get exploded like a pinata, but gets the force ultimately.
Yeah, Juxta really crucial there in the background, holding onto the Ubercharge. Puck again. We saw before in that previous push, Puck saved the day basically on mid, bombing into the sniper medic and getting that force out in red choke. But this time, Puck jumping in behind from lobby, gets a couple of nice rockets over towards Juxta, but Juxta able to surf out to safety the second point. And again, big Uber advantage now. There's the rest of the reinforcements coming in, and offense now with their best chance they've had in quite a while to get a point on the board. We'll see if they decide to go through 3 again. This was their previous successful port of call.
Mech is already on 80% almost. I was saying that they probably need to tensen up their cerebral fitness currently, but they're so close to Uber anyway, and no cap time currently, as there are still some sticks that present some danger. Puck is going to bomb the point a little bit, and intermittently they're changing out their players, only Puck falling. However, but Meg as well, I think he was close to Uber or even dropped. Ron still in behind, he is the danger man. They did not focus him, double scout on the point, only going to secure the laurels in the end, but that was all onto solo soldier action, it almost seemed.
97% on that. When that use comes through, that is genuinely less than 2 seconds until that Uber is coming up. That is absolutely huge from Rons there, coming in, securing that clutch kill onto Mac up at the top of the point. Yeah, because if that Uber comes out, that changes the game completely. Matter of seconds in it, and it's going to get 4 fence their second round, and really kill onto Puck. It's their best start on mid-fight they've had so far. Ron's doing massive damage towards the choke as well. And everyone's so weak. Brugman finishing up onto Menix as well. 3 picks up, and they're smelling blood. They want to go even further.
Oh,
Lucas with a massive pie.
Jesus! And he even trained this from that one. Oh my god.
Crazy the clicks this guy hits. Every single game looks like a frag unit from this man, but it's not going to be enough. As the second point being capped up. Importantly, Mac has made it out alive and hasn't been building too well. I'm not sure Forfen's going to be aware of this, but they've conceded mid, they've conceded second as well, and even despite Lucas' heroics, it's Forfen's coming out on top.
But I think it's maybe a little bit going to calm down since they know that Mac is close to having Uber, but I don't think they are going to stop currently, as they're already taking the lobby position. Also a bit time maybe to get analytical, since 2-0 down already onto SKEDDA and playing. Wow! Double frags, by the way, from Jody, coming a huge, going to delay that push definitely, and even going to enable Mac and SKEDDA to push out subsequently, and moreover because of that action, and still upper IT taken, so I can't even get analytical here. Jody gets a third frag for his team, opening these points up wide open. Unfortunately, the red the red spawn wave will not enable them all that much. Also, defensive engineer and sniper will not make it easy to push out into the second point. But, you know, they've been on their side of the map, SKEDDA here, for at least 90% of the game, it feels like. And they really have to wrap their heads around of what needs to happen, since those headaches that are going to get cast by the... well, speaking of headaches, but going to get, you know, forced by the soldiers of the French team is just so heavy.
Yeah, Georgie's managed to get up the top IT, but he's going to have to retreat out all the way. Just about gets out on a sliver of HP. I think he's down to 8 there at the moment, and they're still using the time though now. Menek's going to try and peek aggressively through 1. Not going to manage to get anything, but like you say, it's scrappy, but like this is almost playing into Forfence's favour, right? Because it's enough that they're only dropping enough kills that like SKEDDA can really think about going second. It's not as if they're wiping like 4 players and they're meaning, right, SKEDDA can just walk out for free. Obviously pushing out of Ross on any map, not exactly easy. Menek's nice shot there onto Nevo. Is going to call everyone back, but now everyone's so passive that not going to be too much in danger. I want to see if Nevo comes up on the map class, see if there's a possibility of a sniper, possibility of a spy. Ron's going in, dealing with 1 in the lobby, but anyone's seen the Nevo Legacy video, there's some great off classes coming through from him in the past. It's something he's well known for, but this time sticking it out on the scouters. Actually going to the soldier all the way in. Brugman pinned to the skybox, pinned to the sky dome. I didn't protest last, not going to get anything, and Deli gets caught as well in the lobby, so Demon down, could be an opportunity for a sack, but Ron's going to be getting caught actually as well. 3 down, okay. This could open some doorways.
They wanted to do a full-out explosive damage class suicidal wave, but the problem was Ron scores getting piped early, and then the other players were not finding a venue, and it was very disparately shared. However, a force comes out on the side of Juxta, so apparently maybe they felt the need that SKEDDA tried to push, but they also got some subsequential damage onto Juxta. But the point that I wanted to get across earlier is that those French soldiers are so difficult to deal with for SKEDDA in my eyes, and it's really a testament to them, since apparently on face value there should be good scouts on the side of SKEDDA, but they weren't really able to get into position. Also, this Uber doesn't reap any fruits. There's only a backupper behind. They don't get anyone down here, and you know the collapse is going to come in.
That is absolutely massive. The back cap attempt drags 3 players back to last, and Runs even gets a kill in the midst of it. And it just leaves the entire rest of the blue side on the low ground, on the grass, taking a losing battle. Medic's going to do what he can over towards 1. Not able to secure anything. Cap comes through. Great work from 4 friends. This is what I say, like, even the Uber ad, getting out of your own last, so difficult because of all the threats of back caps, all the pushing out disadvantage. You got to start capping the point eventually. Like, it's so rough, and SKEDDA fall victim to it again. 3-0 down. 4 friends really finding their steam in this one, and like you said, the soldiers are just not being tamed.
It's like a repeating Dia show. I'm going to repeat myself once more. It's always disadvantage onto SKEDDA usually, and even if they have once or twice leave advantage, they never really are able to set their foot down, as we are into a 4th mid-fight currently, as Jordi is the first victim. Runs having some counter soldier play, and once again they're completely forced out of this point.
Yeah, forced down 4v5, so it's not quite as disastrous as it was previously when they had to rely on some hero pipes from Lucas. But Bruisman going to be in behind, going onto the combo. Cutie going to steal that one away, and the Mac goes down to 4 damage. But that's such an important med kill coming through. Very happy. Only losing 1 player for it as well. Absolutely massive. Lucas going to be getting caught out by Nevo on the point as well, but this goes from bad to worse now for SKEDDA. Losing their medic so late. It's not even like some of these previous ones where you lose your medic early, you can sort of, I don't know, hope for getting you're only like 40% disad-ish by the time the push comes in. You can maybe think, if we just run away enough, we'll get an Uber charge. But Mac is not getting an Uber anytime soon. Mac has literally just spawned.
No reason for SKEDDA to become crybabies, but they can, as a convalescent measure, take away from this game that they can at least practice their last hold onto process. This is 90% of the game so far, and right now Demo and Scout Uber, the Troika of Doom, is going to come in through the one area. Jordi going to get sticked away, and the sentry finally falling. The panic room position currently occupied by red squadron of players, and Ron's going to get gunned away. Manix on the heavy class currently. F was making it work beforehand. Nevo is going to finally touch the point. Nevo also getting the pipes through, and F and Manix are obliged to deliver onto their bullets there through the skulls and bodies of the enemy team, and finally they were able to fight it off and are in positions to push out on the second comprehensively.
Yeah, I think there was that half there up in panic room fighting with the demo and just staying alive on low HP for so long in what was probably a very scary fight. Just a low HP, any lick of damage could have taken them down, but wasn't to be, as managed to just stay alive long enough and delay enough that now with the heavy staying up all the time, it's Uber advantage over inside of Mac, and that Uber's going to be used all the way across. Nevo having a go and sniper in the forward spawn, going to be dealt with very quickly by some stickies from Lucas, but going to get mid for this. But Juxta has on the other side been going to be denying the forward spawn on Nevo potentially, unless the rush comes in straight away from IT. They're straight in onto Mac, onto Medex, and this Uber charge 100% worth it now for 4 fence, and this is madness. There's players in the flank, but there's no threat of a back cap because they haven't even capped mid.
Absolute crush. I mean, this is a back cap potential there if some players are alive. Unfortunately, it's a full wipe, so really difficult to back cap a midpoint without any players left alive. But they mainly used there on the side of SKEDDA because there was a sniper close, and also the enemy combo was called in front of IT, maybe catchable, but they rotated out quite nicely. Only then sniper fell down, but it was so rife and so open for the repush, and Mac was the first casualty that spawned, and the rest of the players were just standing around uselessly, looking at each other, twiddling their thumbs and thinking, okay, who do we focus now? They have heals. It's difficult to even find a venue and get face value of our positions. Therefore, to their dismay, they're once again on the second, or on the last point rather, and I don't want to repeat myself, but here comes the push. Also Tritz on the defense, they might even get this.
Yeah, potentially this is the conduct school of thought. Going to be getting that crits up very, very soon. Can they get the laser beams going? Seems like they can. The laser beams coming out from up top, doing massive damage. And this is why we sometimes see the teams going for these crits on these disab positions. Mac are going to be paying dividends that time. And we see sometimes like with that, you think, oh, what's the point? Why is it going to work? You get stuck with the crits later on. But there, like that completely saves the push after so much work on the heavy. With that minigun, the laser beams tear through everybody. But Max actually had an opportunity, I believe, to swap miniguns in the midst of that and decides, you know what? We're not going to bother. We're going to stick to the crit screen. We're fancying it. 3 rounds down. They have to go quick. They have to go aggressive. And they're thinking, you know what? We're just going to trust in Lucas, some of the best DM of any demo in the game currently, and just trust in the stickies and just trust for this first crit.
Unfortunately, the blue squad was not able to delay any players, so 4 fans is fully set up on this mid fight, even with soldiers on top. Really textbook. They are already spamming them. Also, a sniper peeking them down. QB is constantly on the sniper class, 100% crit streak, and you have to bank onto the surprise factor. Apparently, though, it is not into play since they might even well, expect this crits to come out. Jordy's so weak getting full charge body shot as he jumps through the choke, and the crits is used completely uselessly. Oh, he died! Yeah, I mean, you only need 1 player frag, you know, it's the medic.
Yeah, not still in the crit. The crit does absolutely nothing. It's not a miracle that Matt gets out alive there, but now I'm going to have to live for a bit longer. Nevo's in behind. Bomb's coming in onto the point. Lucas going to be under some peril. Nevo's coming over a back cap as well. We're into pandemonium mode currently. Lucas goes down. Mac still on the crits on second. Going to fight this back, but yeah, I think it was Puck there managed to get in behind and get in onto Jugster. What a huge frag that was. Because if that Uber charge didn't hit from Jugster, this could have been an entirely different fight. And now Jordy going to go back in again, and they're going to try and fight for this. Both sides willing to brawl it out, knowing that neither side can have Uber just yet. Jordy going to jump all the way in behind, might be catching the back of Jugster in a second. Jugster thinking about going back into the series, decides, oh no, there's a nasty goals there. I'm going to turn and run. Jordy dealt with nicely though by Rons on the way back in, but this crit's very, very close to being used. Offense still aware of this. Are they going to be getting caught out? Looks like the nurse crit stick it across the point, doesn't land anything so far, and
the ball for the crossbow from the crossbow. What a quarrelsome crossbow from the crossbow there, essentially. Jugster getting a little greeting there to his opposing medic. Also, before, Lucas had an emotional toggle war where he was left alone because there was a backcap coming in and finally gets crits popped onto him, but they don't find anything at all. And currently, this point could be easily retaken. Puck going to get some juicy rockets alongside Jordy onto Nevo, who was shut down in that choke area. No real helping hands for him, and going to secure 0 ground. The crits rather was a complete disaster, but some players were playing aggressive and it enabled them to hold onto this point.
Yeah, Delhi jumping in with massive damage over towards IT, but crucially no frags going the way of that Uber charge from in. And actually Delhi's going to go down. Jordy's going to find that over on the grass on the mid. As now actually Matt going to have some Uber charge to work with himself, as Luisman's still getting thrown around the place. These 2 scouts, Nevo and QB, going to try and charge in. Lucas dealing with Nevo as well, and now Ada is a miracle they stay alive. That first pipe from Delhi there into IT was monstrous, but really good work from SKEDDA, getting themselves out and just re-aggressing in, and now with full ad, it's their turn to see if they can get a hold of mid.
Maybe it is what they need. Manix is going to get popped up again by a rocket of Boochman. He's going to get forced away. However, Jordy, on the other hand, we have a soldier getting forced quite weak on the blue crate, and Manix taking this forward round. Still with advantage. They have to be aware of it, and finally they're racing into exhibiting the enemy team's second point. It felt like they never really were able to set a foot there, and maybe they can even get a point on the score, since it is not a lot of time left.
Yeah, and Ubers have actually equalised. Mac is still trying to hold on as long as possible. With 2 players going down on 4th and side. Why not? And especially when you can drop onto Jugster. Massive shot there from Lucas. Massive pipe coming in. That could be the start of a comeback that they need. There's a timer on this. There's less than 5 minutes left to find 3 rounds, but that is a statement kill coming in. And SKEDDA, if they want to come back into this, they have to come in and start capping this here and now. They're in on the point. Uber charges out. Point cap comes through, and this game is not done yet. There's only 4.5 minutes left, but what a statement from them.
Allocating all your resources to the comeback story. I mean, it is, I'm waiting, 4:20, so it is the time for heroes, obviously, but what we saw is maybe a Juxta medic was getting blindsided. I didn't really see why he didn't see the demo who was point blank into his face, but he was into his back. It was a close range pipe that took the medic's life and it dropped, and therefore it is still enough time to equalize things greatly. Jordy is going to assume a forward roll and fights a 3 versus 1, essentially does not create enough space, or rather creates space, but the ground is not secured by his team, and they are once more in this repeating Dia show of getting forced out of this mid.
Yeah, it's not the start you want, right? You're looking at what, a par of 2 and a bit minutes per round, and losing mid is going to add quite a bit of time onto that now. They've got to wait for Jordy's respawn as well. Ubercharge is going to be coming up from either side, and pushing out of your own second is always not exactly ideal to have to. Is obviously better than pushing out your own last, but it's still not what they were hoping for. Killing to Bruisement is actually a very nice start for them. Medic's finding that one in the lobby. Bruisement overstepping slightly, but that's just going to lure them in now. SKEDDA have to go. They have to walk in. They know the time limit that they're working with. Recharge used that much later over on the Juxta side. A few flashes though, going to be fading at even time Ashes. Frags going back and forth on the point, but going back and forth in the favour of SKEDDA, who've actually cleaned up a lot of frags. Medics is on a 4k in this fight, and Juxta getting caught in choke on the way out. Big bomb in now from Bruisman, last up alive. Going to be escaping out to lobby, but again, 5 players falling for 4 fence.
This is the impetus once again to the comeback story. We saw every player was outclassing the opposing player, so it was basically rivalry fortress at that current state. Soldier cleaning up Soldier, Demo piping away the enemy Demo, and they're going to build an Ubercharge. By the way, as you mentioned before, the Condog school, it is crit streak right now of Juxta, so let's see if they can make it work on their own side. I don't even think they are, you know, as close as SKEDDA was before onto building it, but SKEDDA have to be fast here on the draw. It is 40% only that separates Juxta from hanging this full crits up, but the Demo is juggled absolutely in the air. The sentry gun only finally falling now.
Yeah, and as well, Jordy, it's a nice big 150 damage body shot on the way in. Crits is 80%, still going to be quite a bit of time before they can come up, pumping so much damage towards the spawn, and it buys so much space. There's 2 minutes to play. SKEDDA, they've left it so late, but they have come here to play, and they are potentially 2 minutes away from a very big comeback. But it's all down to this mid. It has to be quick, it has to be clean. There's no time to get pushed back to your own second this time. There's no messing about. It has to be a win, and it has to be a charge straight through, because 4 fence are still a round up. There's no crits on the board. That was maybe something I was thinking could be possible when you need some madness on the mid. 4 fence deciding to turn up. Decided not just to turtle in this time. They're going to be going, rotating both sides, going anti-clockwise. Let's see who the person to fall. Big aggression coming across the point. SKEDDA players looking straight in.
Brilliant.
Massive damage. Jelly with the 2 sticks. Matt launches into the sky. Going to be taken down by the soldiers upon landing. We're still in a brawl though. We're still in absolute madness. Lucas getting juggled around. There's low HPs all over the place. Jelly very weak as well. Launched up into the sky. Last alive. Dies to Lucas with the pipe. The midpoint goes the way of the blue. SKEDDA, there is still time. There's a minute left. Both medics going down is not ideal for SKEDDA. It means that they're going to have to build up. But there is time. Crit screeds on both the medics as well. We are at boiling point in this game.
Crazy mid-fight currently. What also changed was both teams were playing so cautious, as you rightfully expect on a deciding round, but the difference was that 4 fence was playing on their own right side, and this way around the Jordy bomb that didn't really reap any results in the previous mid-fight was able to find all the damage that they could hope for. The problem was obviously that Mac died, so it's really difficult to create momentum. Currently only 30 seconds to go. They really have to push the issue. They really have to charge forward here. Jordy is trying to create the space. He does ultimately. Creator F is finally trying to get some.
The crit just misses the shot there over the cross.
It's going to be enough time. F is coming in. He's going to hit the shots. It's a 3 versus 4 showdown. Unfortunately, though, I don't think it's enough time currently, as it's only Lucas really on the point trying to defend the honor. He's going to get charged upon, and there you have it. 3 in the favor of maybe the powerhouse of Frenchies. The underdogs falling a bit short, but crazy turnaround of that game. What a absolute great start already to this night, and you know, it's only process. We have another map coming up. Also, they timed it quite nicely with changing maps, but you know, maybe we did not expect that judging from the first 15 minutes of the game, but great turnaround.
Yeah, you've got to imagine that. I sort of feel like if I was on SKEDDA, I'd be kicking myself a bit. I'd be thinking, you know what, if we played like we did in that last like 8 minutes for the rest of the game, like they could have rolled this. They could have been thinking, oh, you know, we'll cruise through, but yeah, they just it just took them long to get going. And we said like 90% of that first chunk of the game was spent on SKEDDA's last. They were spent turtling up. There was a couple of times they managed to just get out to second briefly, and it was lots of time spent at disad and getting saved by various crits and stuff. But again, they left it just slightly too late, and having to force in again at the end, like they were in the advantage situation, pushing into second. But when you're trying to force in with crits v crits and you've got timer to deal with, it's not exactly ideal. We've got some. We can have a look at some logs if you'd like to do so. We'll see who's been the shining lights for either of these teams. Both demos doing a very good DPM as you'd expect for them. 19 and 10 on Lucas. Come to expect that, to be honest, from Lucas by now, but even the scouts on SKEDDA as well doing pretty nice stats.
I mean, they don't want the other to, feel uncomfortable, since we were singing praises and lauding at least me, the soldiers of Forfans, but the scouts being the top fragger on the side of SKEDDA, F and Manix, both having 24 kills, both having 10 deaths, but F takes the crown here with 2 more assists, but really level packing, and they definitely did pull through in the second half of that process round, and maybe that was the switch up that needed to happen. Also in the positioning, they sort of changed a little bit and played more about high grounds, then cautiously in the last round. Unfortunately, that did not end up, pressuring them to the last point. Also looking at medic stats, which is always pretty crucial. Mech has a little bit higher heals per minute, but significantly 0 drops and 2 drops on the side of Juxta. I saw 1 Medigun drop. I don't know if the second one was crits, but it was 2 full drops either way. And also demos receive a little bit more heals on the side of Forfans for Delhi, and Lucas has significantly lower, but Jordi is the top healer. Anyway, do you see anything else? I mean, my take on logs is they only really highlight and signify what was important in the game if you watched the game, and it's difficult to post-factually point fingers.
I was thinking this, and I'd still stand by. Obviously, Bruven and runs, like, they have, obviously, it's being sold, the soldier class, like, you can do great things and not have a great KD. And to be both pairs of soldiers, you look at the logs and think, oh, their KDs, they're both going like 0.5 KD or whatever. Like, it's odd. But like, there were so many huge players they went for. Like Puck in particular over on the SKEDDA side was like being such a thorn to Juxta. Got one of those drops, and even like when it was all going wrong for them and they're on the SKEDDA last, Puck was always trying to go for some sort of play in lobby, trying to go through top rollout or something, and just trying to drag players back and really being a good disruptor. And that obviously doesn't show in the log, but I agree completely. I think SKEDDA, like they were in this game for the last part of it, and they just clicked into gear slightly too late. But what's exciting for us, and what's exciting for SKEDDA, is there's another map to be played. So if they carry on where they left off, Granary could be a lot of good fun for them.
They also saw that their success formula was maybe switching to crits. It all seemed to start from that point on, getting better. I don't know if they will run perma crits in the result of that. I'm not expecting them to do so, but maybe there was also some switch up in the side of Forfans, as you mentioned, both soldiers. It felt for me that Bruchman was more like the Roosman early on, where he was always high bombing and forcing all their eyes and then significantly landing a lot of damage. But afterwards, Rons was also assuming this role of mainly taking panic room control when they pushed last, and was able to spam SKEDDA out of their defensive positions, because I was pointing out that SKEDDA definitely had a convincing last hold, and even more so when they had heavies coming up, not even only on F, but also on Manix, making huge work while the enemy team pushed and in the post fights. But regardless of that, the Frenchies have gotten better, and it did pay dividends for them, as they got 2 quick rounds and made it 3-0 at that point. So they got better at pushing the last point, I should say. But who do you think are the standout players on this map? Are the winning factors that we pointed out still the same, the soldiers for the Frenchies?
I'm gonna highlight. We saw some moments, because Lucas has a reputation. The reputation Lucas had, like, it just does outrageous things. We saw a couple of crazy pipes in that one, but Lucas is just an absolute monster. Had a couple of seasons out of the game recently, and this is sort of the big return for Lucas. Was teased at maybe playing at LAN, didn't end up coming to fruition in the end, but now first off, he's in quite some time, and I think Granary is a map where the demo men can really pop off, and I think we saw some shades of that on Process, but like there's been some outrageous Lucas clips over on Granary over the years, so I'm particularly excited to see what Lucas has been cooking up, and if we can get back to business over on that side, because Granary is the perfect map for it.
it suits the demo man style so much more. I mean, you maybe can't get the great highlight reel mid-air pipes because only the midpoint is really open for that. You have to assume like boring, sticking up the chokes and such. But I mean, you can still get a 6K by doing that and being in unexpected positions. But definitely going to expect a lot of damage, maybe even of both soldiers. I think Delhi is also up to the task, but they're taking the sweet time here. Currently, we have in the red squadron 4 fans and blue is represented by SKEDDA players. In any case, I don't even have the eyes on. Do you know who picked this map? What team?
Not a clue. I think we literally just had to ask beforehand because in theory, the players should be putting this information on the match page. In reality, it just never really happens.
Sometimes, and in practice, is this a bannable offense?
Yeah, admins, any admins in the chat? Any admins in the chat? Yeah, it's one of those non-enforced. You sometimes know, but this time we're not privileged enough to have a pick ban or anything like that. But without that knowledge, I think it's often good. You always lead into that quite a lot, and I sort of believe a lot of the time teams, especially early on in the season, they might not really know what their best maps are and what their opponent's best maps are. You sort of think a bit of vibes or whatever, and then later on in the season you think, right, we played them on this map already, we'll avoid it this time, or this went well for us, we'll keep playing this map, that kind of thing. So maybe not leaning into that too much, but I am going to say we've always seen what these teams are capable of in process, and we've seen that surge of energy that came out of SKEDDA at the end of last map. Like, I'm going to throw you into this. What's your prediction for this map? Who wins it?
It was really a great upsurge. I'm still predicting, unfortunately, sorry for anyone who believes into underdogs, that four fans might have the edge here. I think it's definitely going to be closer since both of those teams have already, peered at each other enough, and now they maybe know what they're dealing with, so they might play a bit more cautious. Also, this map is a little bit more tight in terms of confined area, where it's difficult to sometimes sneak around. Process has more flanks sometimes to boot for. Here you have to basically rely on players hiding out of the sideline or in plain sight rather, except then just jumping behind because it's difficult. I'm going to iterate again, confined area. But I'm predicting 2-1 in the favor of the Frenchies. You are free, however, to prove me wrong. We always want to stray a little bit of discord here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think, yeah, 4 fans, like, as much as I've picked up Lucas, I think, yeah, 4 fans, like, they looked so well.
No, roast me. You pointed out come on, like, Lucas wins 3 rounds. And
true, that is true. Yeah, you've turned me. I think we might, yeah, I think to be close. I definitely think that much. I think SKEDDA will maybe take it. It depends on Lucas. I think Lucas can get 3 rounds or whatever. I think it'd be absolutely huge. But yeah, we'll think about what they're going on, because I think they've already they're already a few points up. They're on 6 points so far this season, which, like, I don't know. This team had to come through qualifiers on SKEDDA, and like, I guess it's because obviously they had to get 4 teams in the qualifiers and such, and there was Global Yeti got in directly because they won Div 1, and there was this 4 fans team technically is a new roster from last season, so these had to get like the special invite basically of team that's like a mix of players that's going to be getting a spot because they're all so good. But SKEDDA had to go through qualifiers, which some of the names on this roster like seems kind of wild, but they dominated. They absolutely dominated, and like this, I think is a really good like early test for them against like one of the teams which like I expect like 4 fans should be doing really well this season. So I think like I am super impressed with how they've turned up. Like, this is basically a mixed team on SKEDDA. It's a completely new roster, and they've come in and they've started out like very strong in week 1. And this first map, like, I was worried, but then last 10 minutes they were like, yeah, they've really showed us what they're capable of. So I'm excited going forward for the SKEDDA side, and I'm certainly I'm gonna think, yeah, I'm slightly gonna go in their favor for a prediction on this Grand Raid map. As we're going to be going live momentarily, there's a couple more moments. I'm not sure what they're up to. There we go. Countdown is on. Gaming about to commence as we get ready for map number 2 on Grand Raid. Remember, map number 1 was taken 3-2 in the closely fought comeback attempts. Just got caught at the wire from SKEDDA, but this time all is to play for as we start again. Fresh scores at 0-0.
Decent point, by the way, to bring up, since you have a lot of practice, and if you end up in Premiership, then maybe this pre-season qualifier will definitely help the team that gets this needed practice, sometimes even with a new roster, as we have Mac and Lucas is strongly on the beam. Currently, Bruchman really only landing onto that lamp and enlightening the enemy team that he is still there. But F and Manix are going to once again bombard forward with the bullets. Huge pipe onto QB. Already, Lucas is laying down some subsequential damage, and Delhi really only has to look at the remainders of their players. However, he does get some juicy pipes in the midst of that, and they want to refight this point.
They're going back in, 3v4, Puck going to be jumping in straight in onto Juxta. Juxta might be getting 14 him, but no, Hunt onto the Uber, down to 13 HP, trusts it. Knows exactly the damage that splash rocket is going to do. Juxta survives, and I've got to say, Juxta's a miracle worker, living for so long on that mid as well. This time, going to have to force out early before this new charge comes in. Point was taken in the midst there by SKEDDA, so they're going to get the forward spawns in the last couple of players. Now, offense as a result, going to have to back it up a bit, backing all into their chokes, low HPs all around, but it's been a bit of a fast start for offense there. Really pushing the boat out there, coming back in that 3v4, and that could have gone so badly, but Juxta just keeping them in the game.
Better Uber management out of Yak as he only soloed and the enemy team multied. However, they lose their players a bit undisciplined there on the flank, and F and Manix both down. Still have soldiers to control the upper area. However, both of those soldiers will win that 2v1 easily. Jordi falling down and getting absolutely eviscerated, and currently it was once again this lack of discipline that forced the scouts down to SKEDDA to fall, and they fought tooth for nail for this midpoint so far. Unfortunately, fell down a little bit, only 10% disadvantage, however, and they can be courageous to hold this forward round.
Yeah, a couple of forward spawns came in the minutes there from SKEDDA, which is going to help them hold in on this yard area, but there's actually a soldier flying all the way in. Mac, so we've forced out finally how many of these red players can get out alive, but it seems like 4 so far. There's a couple of low players. Puck is in on the medic. Juxta holding on for now. Juxta getting hot down, even down low to 7 HP. Jordi coming in, doing the damage, getting into Delhi. Demoman dropped. Great work there from the flank on SKEDDA. Sending both those soldiers in. It was huge work. I don't have a clue how Juxta doesn't drop there. Down to 7 HP. Demoman down. This is going to mean SKEDDA are going to want to walk in. But they're thinking better of it. They're backing up. They see the spawners come in. They're fearing Bronze and Bruise both in. Both ready to start spamming towards these chokes. And yeah, it's getting into the frantic territory.
QB is going to open up this entire flank on the left side, and this yard therefore was also free for the taking. On the side of the French is going to once more fiercely walk forward currently, and Juxta is really the miracle maker that you pointed out. He is living on such a low HP amount, and it manages to force the enemy team to be into forward positions to try to force him, and therefore he, forces them out of position currently, as on the side of back he has decent Uber advantage usually and decent players to Uber on. So in all of that, it was a better Uber management out of Mac when they have the Ubers and when they pop in that exchange, but in contrast, Juxta have been obliged to, keep onto that Uber, and then it makes it sort of equal. But again, we talk all about those sound stratagems and, trying to triangulate all the tactics, but the problem is we're once again on the last point.
Yeah, now they've got a sniper deal with no off passes just yet. It seems that they're going to try and milk him, but that sniper's going to make it so dangerous. Anyone stepping around that wall, he's going to be in peril. In the meantime, Pucker's got behind. Puck's on the medic. Puck gets the force straight in onto Juxta. Miracle work he may be, but there's some things that just can't even be done, as 2 soldiers going down for it is something. Juxta still weak, having to back out over to lobby. You're see now, is Mac in any danger? Gun being dealt with as well. QB going to start capping up the point. This might have to be a very late use. Point. So much cap time coming in. 2 players going to drop for that, but now when this Uber charge dwindles out, Juxta going to have a bit of an ad to work with. That was a much later use from Mac.
Can they formulate a push out here? It doesn't seem like they want to do it. They want to tick down the remaining timer, and it's going to be a build on Nivo, who is going to clop himself with his melee weapon, and that formulates a push, an Uber advantage push of 50% going to come up shortly. Again, we have to see the prowess on the SKEDDA side. Having a level 2 sentry gun currently, they had a level 1 the push before in an aggressive scenario where it was not expected early on. The problem is right now the top push is going to come out.
Yeah, Uber charging straight in. There's still a gun to do. There's still sticks to do with as well. Looks like Jordi getting caught out as well in behind, and the soldiers really in trouble. Mac still a long way away from the Uber charge. There's no scouts to build with earlier on, and they're really paying the price for it now. Counter push coming in. Medic's going to jump in. but not going to do enough. 4Fence getting the first round on the board, and really nice play there coming in. Like we see the both coming onto Juxter in that lobby. All great, but the fact that Mac has to use so much later, like it's almost better off if Mac just uses there for no reason, then just gets you at the same time regardless. Like they want to hold on and they just held a bit too long on SKEDDA's side, and 4Fence reaping the rewards of it.
You have to keep your composure rather on the blue squadron, as they might feel gutted, and rightfully so, as they got profoundly eviscerated beforehand. The problem is it's never really working. So slim margins. They're losing their medic or then getting forced in situations. Though Delhi is the first casualty, and that opens it all up. But Juxter is going to even the grounds currently with a bolt of the crossbow, taking names. However, 3 players down and passive position therefore rendered on the side of the Frenchies. They are in their own yard area and only have to timidly watch as the midpoint is going to get kept. No one wants to watch currently, as QB is still in behind, fighting a 1v1 scenario, causing some headaches, upsets, making some sound in behind. And if they realize that here on the side of SKEDDA they could just push forward, I don't think QB should be that much of a danger, as he's going to get batted away, however. So it's a one-man advantage push, I wager.
Yeah, that's nicely done there by SKEDDA, dealing with that, not sending too many players back, because there's always the worry that if you send too many players back, you are just, your main combo is in peril, and 4Fence will be completely aware of the fact that if like more than 2 people get sent back, then that's going to be instant push into these chokes. But as it stands, going to be back up in a 6v6, yard being held by 4Fence. Nothing too out of the ordinary currently. EV charges ready at both sides. We're going to see how they decide to get in. Last time we saw some crazy soldier attempts from 4Fence when they were in a similar position. We'll see if SKEDDA are going to go for something similar. Looks like currently just holding up in the garage and waiting for perhaps some damage to go off.
I mean, I was taking my time to retry since I can't see the round timer. Finally, I'm back here. But I was right in trusting in that there's a stalemate coming in. They're dubbing 6s the fast game mode, but sometimes also you have some stalemates here, some tactical ones to that. Both medics have their Uber up, no off classes coming in currently, and they're just...
Hooks high, Hooks landing straight in on Juxter. 1 rocket, 2 rocket, doesn't quite get the body drop.
He can't catch the ballerina. He is just, dancing around those soldiers. They can't even see him, even though they are the ones who are bombing the medic.
QB now getting ready to come in from up top as well. So much pressure coming in. Mac might be having to use his Uber pretty shortly. There's a high ground all being taken. QB's very, very weak. The pack hasn't spawned up in time. Might be in peril. Going to be taken down by the scattering of the medics, and that is going to be enough. Well held from SKEDDA there. I thought they were in danger. No soldiers spam those chokes, but they just hold tight on their right-hand side, and now they're actually a big advantage. It's going to be a while till QB comes back in, and they might want to go for something of this.
They seem to trust into QB, but the problem is he was getting jeopardized on the other hand. However, we have a big pipe coming in, forcing Delhi passive and forcing Regan. The damage numbers runs also quite low on HP. Does receive a Quarrel, however, from his friendly medic, and the soldiers have held on for the moment on their own right flank. It was volatile at this current state, but we're once again maybe racing a little bit into a phase of calm and just looking at Stickies. F is not a big enough pick for the Frenchies to try to push out. We saw before where they had equal numbers and they weren't really able to do that. However, it does give Manix the ability to switch to Sniper.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time that double soldier bombing through into choke, I liked it, but it was just a couple of well body blocked shots from, I think it was Nevo who was with Juxter there, just able to eat the damage. But now the Sniper, I guess it can still be done with it, but it's a bit harder. I'm not sure they're aware. They're definitely aware of the possibility, as they're playing super, super close, trying to stay out of these sight lines as well as possible. But the Sniper just sat around the choke area, going to be peeking in here for just trying to poke and prod, just trying to find this angle. It's not maybe an ideal point to snipe into, but it's definitely seemed done as
finally.
First
I mean, Never was peeking in the garage and taking a 1v3, and I was picturing when does he finally die, and finally he did die, so maybe some discipline lacking. We have an Uber exchange currently. Mac doesn't really pop. He doesn't pop at all. I wanted to say he pops later, but he doesn't pop at all. The sword is going to come out. Medieval times ringing away. Manix, Lucas and Jordi all down. Runs only spawning currently, so full squadron of red players. Mac tries to use this Uber that he held on for dear life, and the scout doesn't get the chase off. Delhi is sticking those chokes.
This is rough. This is so rough. Like at this point, like I get like the justification is you sort of from Mac is like, right, I don't care if the sniper dies, I don't even care if the demo dies. We're just going to let you come in and we're just going to milk it and milk it and milk it and then come in with ad. But then
yeah, but wait for your spawners maybe.
Yeah, they didn't wait for the spawners, exactly. And they didn't wait for anything. Puck's not waiting either, going to jump straight in and might not be lucky enough to get out alive. Going to be, just about making it. But yeah, the fact that they used back in, and that Uber back in from back, like from the SKEDDA side, like I think they have a scout getting launched into the skybox by Choke as well, it shouldn't help things, but yeah, like genuinely gets nothing, and this could have been such a great scenario for SKEDDA, but they've let it fall apart.
It's again symbolic how they are not benefiting from those huge, advantages onto silver platters, and they're getting ahead of themselves. Sometimes they don't really know what gameplay needs to come out here and what game plan can work, but we were right for this stage of the game to predict that it will maybe be a low scoreline. It is only 1 point on the Frenchies and it's slowly ticking down, 5 seconds only until the round timer resets, and it's going to, yes, cause some trouble there and is the impetus to pushing forward, but stalemate. So we are once again starting fresh onto the third mid-fight.
Yeah, they sort of crept up on us a bit there. There's some good attempts coming in from the SKEDDA side, but yeah, in the end, that Uber charge isn't punished too much. The man was used so much later over on SKEDDA, but now back to the mid fight, and they've had good success in the previous two mids. They've definitely been like the ones holding the point at the end. It's been the counter pushes from fourth, when they've had the reinforcements in that they've had to deal with. They dealt really well with the double bomb from Bruisman and Runs last time. Mac doing some great moves out towards Choke, and this time they might be having to do some of the delis taken very, very weak to get onto the pack eventually. Always scary when demos rolling out and Granny. I always feel like one of them is going to die to some screaming of spam, but this time Puck will be the first one in. Behind, trying to get onto Juxta main, but actually cleaned up early. So one pick advantage now for Forfeit. It's not a position you've seen much so far on these Granary mids, and Lucas getting caught out as well. Demoman down. This could be the time to pull the trigger and start walking into the yard. Heroes in, Bruisman's in. They're going to start taking the height. They want to take yard as well. They're going to take the 2.5 point, I guess, on a Granary, and they're not even stopping. They're going further in.
It's crazy to see that SKEDDA had so much high ground control, but they never really got out of their own choke on that mid area, and even though they had 3 players on the high ground, finally they were just, getting pinpoint down and losing health and then falling down, unfortunately, and that forced the bombs after the first scout went down from the French soldiers, as we dubbed them before, maybe being difference makers. It did, however, calm the waters a little bit, and I was maybe predicting to instantly that to prompt an instant push from the red side, but it did not end up happening. They are 1 round up. I mean, it is a slow game after all, but you kind of expect maybe for them to be aggressive, but they're just going to park the bus here a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and I guess it's a very, very different sort of flavour of stalemate to the one you get out in Yard, where it's a bit more action-based. There's obviously chance of pushing into the point, there's chance of getting something going, and Ron's actually going to be the first one to drop 2 hits. Jordy going in even deeper as well. Bruisman's gone down, Neagle's gone down as well. This is falling apart a bit as they're going to be pushed all the way out. Jordy going to jump in, going to try and get in high onto mid damage, onto Deli, going to try and go for the hero shot, not quite going to land it. He'll be able to sweep that one up, but Yard taken. And there's still 2 players down over on this red French side, as maybe they're going to start walking on this SKEDDA.
This is the difference, by the way, on playing to win and playing not to lose, as the Frenchies are 1 round up, but they played so passive and wanted to park the bus. They did not expect SKEDDA to walk in from different angles, but however, they still lose players. Manix is sort of doing a, QB play there, because QB beforehand was the one who got absolutely sold on the midpoint, and currently it is Manix. So really, once again, difficult. F is losing his head. I wanted to say they have to compartmentalize a little bit of their resources, but that forces those rockets and the medic in the air dancing around, but players still come in. Juxta does get forced, but crazy plays, Ben.
Yeah, we said about this soldier duo, they come in again, and honestly, like, Mac had some great movement there. Mac had no right staying alive so long, but eventually, the damage just didn't stop piling in onto Mac. Eventually, the drop comes through, but the big saving grace, Juxta gets forced in choke, means that it's not going to be a full disab, because this could have been absolute catastrophe over on SKEDDA's side, but now they're into even Ubers on their own last time, well, even-ish. They're still at a little bit of disab, still sitting at about 20%, but on a last point as big as Granary, it's maybe okay. They can maybe just play it like even, as long as they're building diligently on their side, and we'll see if Forfence decide to push the issue early, try and maybe work this, but it seems like they're thinking about it. They're walking in, they're testing the waters, and actually people being taken down instantly. It's going to be between the waters, too cold for them. Decide, you know what, we're gonna back out. We're just gonna play it slow as possible.
Yeah, don't go, skinny dipping for no reason. Just put on, some gear, some protective gear. But we saw that they were testing the waters. Also, Delhi was taking a bullet into his forehead, not falling down from that one, but going quite low. So he saw that there was a sniper visibly, very visibly, on the field, and that was the lead projectile that led them once again to a very familiar conclusion, which is we're going to slow this game down. Manix has a level 3 gun, this time in a forward position. Nivo trying to battle it out from the left side. The sniper not really finding his shots currently. There's a lot of damage coming in, Ron's falling, and that will once more result in Frenchies just backing up.
Yeah, Puck there nearly had an opportunity to go for something up above, but Af actually peeking into lobby. Jordy opening the door, and that's a kill of the demo man. This could be a cue for a push out now. Jordy very, very close on this cap, trying to edge it out, but one of those where there's a little wall in between. You can edge it out without actually seeing each other, as Bruisman is there just to try and block the point as well as possible. QB going to go for something funny on the back line, not going to be laughed at by the sentry gun. As now pressure coming in. SKEDDA's still going to stay in. They're still basically 2 picks up because there's only a spawner coming in now, and actually going to be bullied out eventually. Great work again. Forfence holding tight, not giving up too much cap time, not letting it get too messy. Is there now secured again, and they are bringing up a sniper of their own. QB back on the Australian class, going to be looking to go for another sniper, this time against Af rather than Menex.
Both 6v6 compartments are so much placed into their own endemic environment, since both of these teams should be aware that they are on the last point and the enemy team is then pushing the last. I didn't even see SKEDDA at all on the enemy team's last, but a huge bomb from Park, high bomb onto QB, onto Nivo. They did not see the soldier flying in, and Nivo was not able to protect QB enough. They are not looking at the sky heights, and the Gibbs are going to get flung up absolutely into the air. Another headshot coming out, dismantling the French offense and leaving it barren and unprotected. But they have to create momentum currently. Grushman really weak as well in the forward position.
Lucas gets caught out in lobby. Some characters a mistake there coming through, and now demos down from either side. Is this the time when maybe we see some aggression coming out from Forfence? Never mind. That's nipped in the bud straight away. Another headshot being landed by the sniper rifle, locking down this left side, but Rons has enough of it, jumps straight in onto Af. Hughes comes in. They want to try and go for this in the French side, but this Uber charge not really getting anything that I'm aware of. QB is actually going to drop to it, and surely this is SKEDDA coming out now.
Finally, the push out is going to come out. I thought there was a little gentleman's agreement that we didn't know about, where they only want to rely on their own sniper to get the headshots, and get the kills so he looks better in comparison. But it's also the issue with those off classes. You can't really switch fast enough if you're not in forward ground on your other ancillary classes. Currently, however, Lucas and Beck are pushing forward, 20% disadvantage.
Oh, I thought they were going to stray into it. Lucas is still in danger mode in front here. Might be getting caught out in steps a bit too far.
He's completely alone.
Yeah. Nice arrow, but...
Well, he just survived. Both of these teams have such a huge tendency, and they always seem to have the roulette on who is the one who gets sold on those mids. Either it's Manix, whether it's QB, or this time it was Lucas, but Lucas did not lose that gamble. He did go out, but still, we're still in the same scenario, only one scoreline and 1 point in the favor of the Frenchies.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I guess from SKEDDA's side, they've been this a bit more ground. They're no longer stuck on their own last, but they're stuck in what is another very, very tight stalemate to get through. Both soldiers, though, flying straight in on the French side. Rons thinks better of it after Bruisman. His bomb doesn't get too much. Mac gets taken weak, but yeah, decides, there's too much spam, too much damage coming through, and just going to go for the single sack and bail out on that one as Mac lives to fight another day. But 10 minutes in the clock, still time, but I guess this is... If last map is anything to go by, this is when SKEDDA just turn it up to 11. This is where they go for the huge plays, but when you're on second, it's kind of hard, right?
This is where Mech hits the kill bind, and then he can switch to crits and spawn, and that forces Forfence to push in and completely waste their advantage, and then they run into the crits. Surely this is maybe not the play, but I don't know really, something needs to happen here. Some momentum needs to be created out of a thin air. It seems QB is once more on the sniper class and he's shutting down all the space. There isn't all that much space, to be quite frank with you, to even be enabled, since there are so confined choke points all around onto Granary. Currently Mac and F alongside Lucas are on this foreground. The Runs is trying to create the opening, gets absolutely shoved into the respawn queue.
Yeah, Bruges getting caught as well, trying to come in. They like to go together and they like to try and coordinate, but both of them getting caught out this time. And 2 players up, this could be the ticket back into this round that SKEDDA were after. Getting set up in the garage, maybe hitting a headshot though onto Geordie. Might be some danger, but looking at Demo in the midst of this. Juxta with a later use, but no Demoman for this post fight. Scout making it up onto the high ground as well. Everyone on the height now over on SKEDDA. It might be a little bit of a kill zone underneath as Ron's going to be trying to jump in to do something, but to come back after again with a couple of nice pistol kills at the end, and yeah, the high ground difference comes in good, and Delhi only just spawning in as well is going to mean the lack of Demo is going to pay big homage to SKEDDA. But now get on enemy second, and they want to maybe use their number advantage while they can, because last time we saw them get sent to a round reset from this time. But if they go into yard, there's a sniper waiting for them round the corner. Seems like it's cleared very nicely. Geordie very well aware of the possibility.
The winning modus operandi for SKEDDA surely is their Uber management and their post-Uber positioning, and did bear fruits once more. However, the Uber advantage is not really in anyone's hands, as Juxta will even have it a little bit earlier, but will not end up mattering currently. Finally, I mean, we called that something needed to change, and at this time frame, also in process, it seemed to shift gears in the favor of SKEDDA, and now they are trying to see what the enemy team has, and they also have a second point, so finally can they push that second point, and they're trying to do so from the lunchbox, double spamming with the soldiers. And Geordie's even through, there were stickies, they were not detonated, he does not get anything.
Good effort though from Geordie, getting a lot of damage, but not quite able to secure any kills. But the sacrifice they're willing to make, there's still plenty of time. They can start sending these single sacks in and start going for the perfect moment. For Fens doesn't look like they're too keen on sending anything back the other way, and why would they? They're just happy to let the time dwindle down. They're a round up, and they're the ones in control at the moment. As we get Geordie spawning back in now, but I like the idea of just trying to send someone in up top and see if there's any joy doing that again, because eventually sacks like that will bear fruits.
I think that it all comes to fruition if they want to enable their soldiers, and they seem to be, well, shift the salient factor here, because it was onto Manix and F before, but currently it is mostly onto Puck and Geordie trying to get fully buffed through that lunchbox areas. They get spotted early by Broochman. There are no stickies currently on the top area, but nothing really happening, like enemy team ostracizing the soldiers because they can't really get through and they're getting watched long range, and currently nothing is happening. But the ice is thin at this current state, since we saw Geordie just found some jump through, and it can really shift quickly, but it really has to shift quickly at some point. I mean, nothing is happening, and they're just staying around in lunchbox, not doing anything.
Yeah, we've already had 2.5 minutes of this stalemate, but sticks have finally been cleared, meaning that the soldiers now maybe thinking about coming in. The beams there as well to give them plenty of buffs, but Geordie's knocked off the height, and again falls victim to these lurking scouts on the low ground. But actually QB is going to be traded out in lower lunchbox, so 1 for 1. We're going to try and get an even further. Medics even toying with the idea of running through as well, and Scout maybe slightly ill-advised, even all the players on the enemy side sat waiting. And
Geordie was so confused, by the way. There was, by the way, we have finally a push coming out. It will be a much later use on the side of Juxta. There's a scout running in behind. F is still battling a 3 versus 1 on the last point. Will not win that one. Runs, gets revenge onto this opposing scout. Manic still running in behind on the top. Delhi falls. Geordie also winning that 1v1 soldier battle. This push can definitely reap the results that they want. Only it's Broochman, spawner, and 5 seconds still onto Delhi, so no stickies on the point, and
SKEDDA in the last like 8 minutes of the game are just built different. Like they just built absolutely different. Like that trade.
They need the pressure.
Yeah, the trade came in, and I was like, okay, they're just going to trade it about. But like, they send the scout behind, drag so many players back to last, and it's a much better Uber for Juxta. But it doesn't make any difference whatsoever, because the fight on the point is just completely won out by SKEDDA. Not enough spawners, and Delhi getting caught out as well, super late in that fight, isn't going to spawn anywhere near in time. And there's no stickies anywhere, and that is the difference maker. As Can he equalise it this time? They left it a bit less late than last time. They learned their mistakes and process. You can't leave until the last couple of minutes when you're 3-0 down. When you're 1-0 down, it's certainly possible. 4 minutes left to play in this game, and it's still anyone's game as the push comes across the point now. Forfends taking plenty of space across the middle. We're taking a lot of damage.
No, finally some players are dying. I just was watching the longest range even 1v1 of Demo Man, and they were toying with each other. Lucas was shot very low, and then perpetually Deli was shot very low. He did survive, but always had stickies on the ground, and it doesn't really favor any team. I feel like currently only the one that walks forward, which is SKEDDA currently, as they had F on the high ground, and also Lucas charging forward. Manix in Tau as well with his familiar friends, and they are taking all the ground that is given to them. Also Juxta did die.
Yeah, Juxta dying is massive because now this, and Juxta died like kind of late as well, so like only 30% Uber on Juxta. If second point is taken and cleared quickly, then there is a chance this ad could be good for last, and QB is very aware of that possibility, getting the gun built up already. So this is not a stay to defend on the forfeit side, this is a stay to delay. They're going to try and just delay as best as they can. Bruisman actually getting quite far in on Lunchbox, finding a kill onto Af. Might be slowing things down a bit, and actually runs back a bit as well. Able to buy even more time. Ubercharge used in finally. Juxta is going to have the runs, getting caught out in the upper Lunchbox. Ubercharge will be ready on the French side, using both soldiers for it. They've bought so much time. But now there's maybe a chance, probably not going to push out, but they're going to hold tight with their Uber.
This is so obscure, by the way, so insanely obscure. I was thinking, okay, Juxta is building his Uber advantage, his Uber disadvantage really well. He will probably catch up, as I'm going to have this thought a bit later as the bombs come in. I don't think necessarily this is the play, but apparently this is the play they opted for. They're going to lose 3 players in a result of that and end up with 50% advantage. Juxta is still very weak, but no one is closer to deal the damage and get the punishment in, as there was an unaliving subscription for the side of SKEDDA players who are constantly bombing forward. I don't necessarily agree with this play, but what I wanted to say before, Juxta was building his Uber disadvantage so well that they almost were able to get the Uber up, you know, on par, and Mech doesn't have an Uber advantage anymore. But then Mech gets sort of forced, and now the enemy team does have an Uber advantage, you know, on last, but they probably won't push out, but they will push out if you force the medic. That happens anyway.
Massive bomb onto Deli. Jordy might be opening this up, cracking it open. This second point, massive kills coming through. No Demo, no Bruisman either. So even though this has taken quite some time to get the players in, it's now even Ubers again. There's a heavy up on this last point. There's no stickies on the point. They want to go straight in. SKEDDA, they're feeling it. They want to go for it. Hook straight in. One big rocket onto Juxta. Juxta able to hide out behind a little wooden wall and will live to fight another day. 3 players sacking in once more, but this time Juxta not forcing out the Uber charge, and instead this is going to be an attempted push out from Forfends. There's only a minute and a half left in this game, but Forfends still are thinking about the possibility of going for this rather than just sitting it tight. It's another wall of defense, but the spawners are here. And,
in the first 25 minutes, it was such a tranquil game, but it seems like they just noticing that it needs to shift into top gear currently, as we haven't seen enough action here on this map. So currently all the players are walking forward and alongside each other, but Manix and F falling. The turnaround and the running behind the enemy team of F this time around not working, as they were aware of it, but they're not aware of the double sticky taking down Bruchman and Nevo.
Hook in. Hook's on medic. Hook gets Juxta in behind. Gets the medic caught in transition back to the last point. Was completely undetected all the way up to Lunchbox. And now they've got the 2 picks in the sticky trap. Hook coming in, getting the medic as well. SKEDDA, there's 40 seconds left. They're getting an Ubering time. They're going to have one final attempt. We said they love to leave it late, and this is as late as ever. 33 seconds. Puck just spawning in. Mac 80% Uber. This could be it for SKEDDA. They're really thinking about this as a sniper to contend with. There's a gun to contend with as well in the passive position, but it's Uber ad for SKEDDA. Demo launching already. Lucas going to get the sentry gun straight away. Soldiers on the height, going to be flying all over this. One's very, very weak creators. On the reaction spawn, 12 seconds. So much captain. Really but SKEDDA, they might get it, they're going to get it. 8 seconds left. SKEDDA come back to a round down, and this time they do it with time left on the clock. What a comeback.
absolutely crazy. Really good early cap time. The players of the Frenchies, especially the soldiers, were keeping their life on those little pipes, but it was not enough. Not enough damage was coming in. They were intermittently changing out their players, but no one was close to blocking anymore. And you have mentioned it was a little bit of a hiatus. Now I know why I want to cast these games. What a crazy game that was. Turnarounds all the way, and that could have gone either way on both maps, and it was so insane to see. Also some abstract issues that we saw where one team was, leapfrogging the enemy team's uber advantage, and then they were not able to make anything out of that. And then we had a 3-minute phase where Jordi was really confused and was thinking, oh well, that was the furthest I came all evening, and why are they not killing me? And then they were able to clean him up. But it has come to pass, and as I was mentioning, in the first 25 minutes, it's a bit of sleepy game, resident sleepers in chat, and then they realize, oh, it's only 5 minutes, we have to get the action going so people can have hearts that stop beating. Anyway, Ben,
That was crazy.
Just crazy game, honestly.
Destroy them. that was such a mad ending, and yeah, like what is it? I said before, I was sort of half-hearted. I was like, okay, like coming back from 3-0 down, like maybe 4 offensive, got a little bit complacent towards the end or whatever. Maybe letting him get back into it a bit from 3-0. Then I guess the 3-2, and 4 offense still win it out. And this time again, it's still 1-0 with what, like 7 minutes left, I want to say. Like those last 2 rounds came within the last like 5 or so minutes. That was so well played from the SKEDDA side. Like they're never down and out in these games, and coming back, capping it out with I counted, I think it was 7 or 8 seconds on the clock left at the end. Like that was crazy scenes, and yeah, great work from them. As yeah, I thought they were severe underdogs coming into this, coming through the qualifiers as well, but they're going toe to toe with some of Europe's best, and it's great work from the SKEDDA side. I believe we've got some logs we might be able to bring up. We can see what the tail of the numbers is telling us, and honestly, like the medic, like so it tells the speed of the game for that first 20 odd minutes. There's only 4 medic deaths the whole game.
I mean, and it was a very different medic scenario. Also, Mac dying once in almost 30 minutes, and
it was a drop.
Yeah. 100% drop rate. No, but only 1 death aside. But what I wanted to say, it's sort of a tale of 2 medics. They were playing rather differently. Mac was dancing about in the air whenever he got bombed, and also had really good Uber management. And Jaxa on the other side was sometimes, he was dying 3 times as much, but he was not dancing in the air all that much, but he was always holding on. He was like 7 HP or 10 HP or 12 HP, and he did not pop that Uber, so it was sort of evening the grounds onto that scenario. We also, if we keep eyes on the medic healing stats, all of those differences are so arbitrary. If you just look that Mac gets 2 heals per minute fewer than Jaxa, so just level packing, honestly. I mean, also, what I pointed out before, those logs only really make sense if you watch the game in question, and we did that, and I hope you enjoyed that, because that was absolutely crazy. QB being the top fragger, by the way, pointing out onto Six's players who otherwise get mad if you don't point out their MGE skills. 20 kills on the side of QB, 11 deaths, 1.8 KD. After that, it is all blue that I see, not Dabba Die, but F, Jordi, and Manix. Anything else you see, Ben?
Nothing too particular. Like I don't know, it's weird, right? Because the game was so slow paced for such a long time. Like you kind of get there on Granary sometimes, right? Because you, especially on the second point, like it takes so long. If you hold the midpoint, you've got to first reach into yard. It takes so long. There's so many threats of hiding spots, those sorts of things that you've got to be so careful. And then you've got to stay on the shutter, and you've got to play the spam war and start edging the point and everything. Like it's a super slow game, and that's sort of showing in this, right? Like the scouts. At least like DPM wise, not doing an insane amount, but that's not to be expected in the sort of spammy fights. But no, I said I wanted to see Lucas step up, and like 8 and 7 is not exactly massive, but those kills were so impactful. Those couple of kills, like in the shutter at the end, that breaks them in, absolutely massive. So it's a great work there, and yeah, I think honestly, like SKEDDA, I wasn't sure what to think of the coming of this season. Right, it's a mixed team. There's obviously some great names on there, names that have been around Prem for a long time. But this is looking to be a pretty good mesh of players. Like I said before, I had 4 offense. I think before this, I thought they were the favourites for maybe even the whole season.
I just wanted to clear up.
SKEDDA
Maybe it
call.
came across wrong before, but I predicted a 2-1 scoreline. Maybe I got it across wrong. Maybe I meant the other team, But
Yeah, you noticed, yeah.
I mean, there are no winners, but there are also no losers in this fixture. We have a tie essentially on 2 points, and I'm just going to iterate once more. Absolutely great game to watch, and thanks for anyone who was watching. But I'm going to leave the last words to you to wrap this up, Ben. But again, just also thanks to the players definitely showing up very well.
Yeah, thanks everyone on SKEDDA and on 4Fence for putting on an absolute banger of a series for us. And yeah, thank you for producing JMax and for joining me on your returning cast of it. I hope you had a great time with that, and I'm sure it was a great game to be coming back into it with. As for future games, I don't believe we've got any more coming up this week. We've had busy days yesterday and today, but next game is going to be on Monday next week, so stay tuned. Probably going to be over on the main Essentials channel, but I believe this is going to be the main B stream from now on, so make sure you drop a follow and be aware of any games that could be coming up in the future of this season. There's still 5 more weeks left to play, so anything can happen. Still a long, long road ahead for these teams. And but for SKEDDA and 4Fence, getting some points on the board is going to help them in their dreams of making it to those all-important playoffs at the end of the season. So join us on Monday, see some more Prem action, and we'll see you all